is you need to have a philosophy which has a few characteristics, a new philosophy. So it doesn't start with epistemology, which claims that you can have epistemology sans metaphysics. No, whatever your epistemology and metaphysics is must be compatible with new physics or up-to-date physics and up-to-date biology. That's what he's saying basically. But then where is the role of philosophy as critique of science? I'm not sure at this point, but that's what he's saying, or according to this entity he is saying. Okay, these are the considerations that generate Whitehead's fundamental metaphysical category, the category of an actual occasion. Okay, what is that? An actual occasion is not an enduring substantial entity, like rather to the process of becoming. So bit like a process of weaving together the prehensions, a primitive form of apprehension meant to indicate a taking account of or feeling devoid of consciousness of the actual occasion that are in the immediate past. Whitehead called this process of weaving together the inheritances of the past, concurrencies or concurrences. An actual entity is its process of concurrence, its process of growing together into a unified perspective. Let's go back. So an actual occasion is an enduring substantial entity. So that's the ontology here. So substance is replaced by actual occasion. It is a process of becoming. So actual occasion is the process of becoming, a process of weaving together the prehension of the actual that are the immediate past. Why did call this process of weaving together the inheritances of the past concurrences. But entity is ontology, but this process and the process of apprehension is epistemology. So I don't know, it's not clear whether it's talking about the actuality or a process of comprehension of that actuality. An actual entity is its process of concurrence, its process of growing together into a unified perspective on its immediate past. Again, perspective is the knowledge side, but it's talking about actual entity. I'm not saying you have to dissociate those two things, but what is it describing? Describing the actual thing, or describing the entity, or the process of apprehension of that entity? Or are the process of apprehension is actually the process, the way entity appears to us as well? We can't think of or talk of it apart from our process of apprehending that. So that's not clear so far. The seeds of Whitehead epistemology really, so it's calling epistemological realism. So what we actually apprehend is reality as well. Planted in these fundamental first move, the philosophy of organism is the inversion of Kantian philosophy. For Kant, world emerges from the subject. Okay, that can be true. Where else can it emerge from? I mean, of course, the world doesn't emerge from the subject. Our knowledge of the world comes from the subject. So Kant doesn't claim that the world emerges from the subject, but Kant does claim that our knowledge of the world emerges from the subject. I mean, whatever his notion of subject is, how can you avoid the person or the entity which is apprehending? So emerges from. So that's not entirely true. So one of the problem with developing your theory with reference to your understanding of past philosophy is that you're distorting them as well. So why don't you just independently say what you mean? I guess he wants to be historical, but again, on the other hand, I guess every philosopher does that. So there you go. So the world emerges from